I believe our host committee is present from Minneapolis, and we have with us Becky Rowland and Jim Hahn who will come.
Good morning, y'all.
Thank you.
We play well with others.
Yeah, thank you.
In just over 3 months, in fact, I added them up this morning, I think it's 103 days. We will be meeting in Minneapolis for General Conference 2020. My name is Jim Hahn. I'm a retired elder in the Minnesota Annual Conference, and I lead the Dakota's Minnesota 2020 host team. Members of the host team have been meeting for some time. I'm retired so I can correct the bishop. It's not 2 years, it's 5. 5 years ago this month, I was asked to chair or to lead this host team, and we have been working since then to prepare to welcome our siblings in Christ from around the world. We attended the 2016 General Conference in Portland and the 2019 Special General Conference session in St. Louis. At both events, we observed, volunteered, and learned firsthand what it takes to host and how we can provide extravagant hospitality to our guests.
Good morning, church. My name is Becky Boland, and I have the honor of being a certified lay minister at Hennepin Avenue United Methodist Church in Minneapolis. I also serve as a member of our Minnesota delegation to General Conference 2020, and it's an honor to serve as Jim's co-chair on the host committee. My personal favorite motto comes from the book Wonder by R.J. Palacio, if any of you have read it or seen the movie. And it comes from the importance of being kinder than is necessary. I truly believe that in every interaction we have as human beings, that if we are kinder than necessary, we give people a glimpse of God in our faces and our actions when they need it most. Every single day, as a parent and a wife and as a member of this host committee, I work hard to live out that motto. And it's also informed our preparations for you all coming to Minneapolis as we prepare to have a big tent and welcome every single person who's coming. We've worked very hard to go above and beyond to make sure every single person coming to Minneapolis knows fundamentally that we welcome them. We are also aware this is no ordinary General Conference. This is an unprecedented time in our denomination, and a lot is at stake when we gather in May. We, as the Dakotas and Minnesota United Methodist, intend to demonstrate through our actions. Loving our neighbor is not about agreeing on all the things we care about. And we want you to know that no matter who you are, no matter where you are from, you are welcome in Minneapolis.
When you come to Minneapolis, you will not be visitors. We hope and invite you to be our guests. Now, you may be wondering what to expect when you arrive in Minneapolis, and especially if you've never been there before. So let's take a look at a 5-minute video, and I do want to thank United Methodist Communications for helping us to produce this video, featuring some of our Minnesota pastors who will give you a sense of what things will look like.
I am so excited for all of our guests to arrive for General Conference 2020.
We want to give you a warm Minnesota welcome and a brief overview of what you can expect.
Welcome to Minneapolis. Most of you will fly into the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport.
The majority of flights, including international, arrive at Terminal 1, but some of you might arrive at Terminal 2.
Once you exit your plane, head to the baggage claim and look for the people in the purple vests. They will answer any questions you might have.
After you get your bags, the purple vested people will help you with ground transportation to your hotel.
There are several hotels that are designated for our General Conference 2020 guests.
One of those is the Hyatt. When you arrive at your hotel, hosts in the purple vests will be in the lobby area to greet you. They can also help you with directions to the convention center and provide recommendations for dining and attractions in the area.
Other hotels that have been designated for our guests are the Hilton Garden Inn, the Millennium, and the Holiday Inn Express. Delegates will select hotel options when they register for General Conference 2020, and others will make their own arrangements.
You can walk to the Minneapolis Convention Center where all of the sessions for General Conference 2020 will be held. Minneapolis has a skyway system that allows you to move from building to building without going outside, or you can take the bus.
Once you arrive at the convention center, head in and you will find our purple vested friends ready to greet you and guide you to where you need to be.
Each day will begin with worship and presentations in halls B and C, where plenary sessions will be held.
There will be designated seating areas for delegates and guests.
Hall D will house all of the displays from United Methodist related agencies, vendors, and Cokesbury. Hall D also has casual seating for lunch and musical performances that will take place there each day.
Most legislative committees will meet upstairs. There will also be a prayer room and various other meetings throughout the building. Again, the purple vested people will be available to guide you.
Food will be available in these areas of the convention center. Lunch and snacks will be served at designated times.
We want to share with you some local Minneapolis-St. Paul spots you won't want to miss. The Walker Art Center and Minneapolis Sculpture Garden are right in the heart of downtown Minneapolis. You will find the famous cherry and spoon sculpture there.
Also, be sure to check out the Hennepin Avenue United Methodist Church. There you'll find a beautiful stone church with a rich history.
You can also take a stroll along the Mississippi River, on the beautiful Stone Arch Bridge, or walk or jog around one of the many lakes Minnesota is known for.
Or you can do a little shopping at the Mall of America. The light rail is a quick and easy way to get around Minneapolis and St. Paul. The blue line goes to the airport and the Mall of America, and the green line goes to St. Paul.
There are a lot more places you may want to explore while you're here.
While you might think of Minnesota as being a frozen tundra, we assure you that springtime here is lovely, but you will want to dress in layers to be sure you're comfortable.
The host team has a fantastic website with lots more information, attractions, and helpful hints to help you enjoy your stay. We can't wait to see you in 2020.
Welcome to Minneapolis.
Welcome to Minneapolis.
Welcome to Minneapolis!
A link to that video will be available on the General Conference website and on our host team's website, so that you can refer people who have not been here to that, so they can also find information about coming to Minneapolis. One of the things we're most looking forward to is presenting each and every one of you with a handmade purple scarf. As you may have heard, we invited United Methodists across the Dakotas, Minnesota area to knit and crochet purple scarves for our General Conference guests through what we call the Lydia Project, named after Lydia in Acts 16. We initially hoped for 3,000 scarves, and then 5,000. and we wondered if that was too ambitious, but God has something much bigger in mind, and we ended up with 13,000 scarves. We want you to know that when you receive your scarf in May, that the person who created it for you has been praying for you. And that is another way of saying welcome. My scarf was made by Katie Reen from Zion United Methodist Church. Each scarf will have a tag on it with the name of the person who made it, their church, and on the back of the tag, it shows where they're from in Minnesota or Dakotas. Katie happens to be from Bellingham, which is way out on the western border of Minnesota, but that's only about a third of the way to the western border of Dakotas. So personally, you are prayed for and you will be welcomed.
So you might be wondering now, why purple? As you can see, we're big fans. Go Vikings. Well, the funny thing about that is I'm not even a football fan. I don't follow it. So outside of the Lydia Project, representing Lydia in the Bible, we are also home to the aforementioned Minnesota Vikings, the world-famous late musician Prince, both of whom signature's colors are purple. As you probably gathered through that video, there is a lot to do in Minneapolis. I personally have lived in Minneapolis all of my adult life, and I love the city that I live in. I live near the Mississippi River, as Bishop O mentioned, and daily, my husband, my 10-year-old daughter, and I walk along the river. We see eagles and hawks fly over our backyard. We see foxes at 6 a.m. every morning run along the parkway. We have a 51-mile Grand Round system of trails in Minneapolis, a roadway that connects all of our parks and trails. Minneapolis is an amazing city to play outside in year-round, even on those days with a foot of snow. Perhaps even those days the most.
People have asked me about the temperature in Minneapolis. This is what I will say to you today. It was warmer in Minneapolis yesterday than it was here. Last May in Minneapolis, in the first week, we had a snowstorm. And in the last week of May, it was 90 degrees. So be prepared. But Minneapolis is not only a fantastic city, it is also a historic location for general conferences. On May the 4th, 1956, the General Conference of the then Methodist Church met in Minneapolis and did something bold and amazing. It granted full clergy rights to women. And the church has been better for it ever since. I don't know what will happen in Minneapolis this year, but it is my hope and my prayer that 64 years from now, it will look bold and amazing. Now, just in case we haven't yet convinced you how great Minneapolis is, we've invited our two General Conference delegates from Minnesota to briefly tell you about what they love about Minneapolis.
Greetings. I'm Dave Knuckles. I'm a layperson for Minnetonka United Methodist Church in the western suburbs. We're open for business May 3rd and May 10th when you're in town, and anytime you come to Minneapolis. I'm also the conference lay leader, and by way of further introduction, I'm on the connectional table working on our budget priorities and I had until recently been working as a member of the Commission on a Way Forward, so I will apologize for that. But we're going to make it up to you in Minneapolis. What I love about Minneapolis is its wonderful open spaces. Our city is often ranked #1 in the country for urban parks and #3 in the country for bikeability. People bike in Minneapolis to work in the deep snow. When the thaw comes, when you're here, you can also rent our bikes. What I enjoyed when I used to work downtown near where you'll be hoteled would be some long walks. There's a lovely walk from your hotel to the Stone Arch Bridge across the Minneapolis River and back. And if you want to walk in the other direction, you can pass by our lovely Hennepin Avenue United Methodist Church, Loring Park, and go across the street to the Sculpture Garden. Those are both very doable walks. And I'm told that I should tell you about some favorite restaurants, so if you happen to take my advice to see a park, Minnehaha Falls Park, there's a restaurant there called Sea Salt that's a delight. And close to your hotel, there's an Italian restaurant I like called Zello. And the best breakfast you can accomplish close to your hotel and close to your heart, achieving our #1 mission to make disciples, because your help is needed there. The restaurant is called Hell's Kitchen. So please check it out.
I'm Reverend Carol Zagsma, and I serve Portland Avenue United Methodist Church in Bloomington, Minnesota, which is about 10 miles south of downtown Minneapolis. As a trumpet player, I appreciate the music scene in Minneapolis. The Twin Cities boasts over 50 community bands, one of which I play in. While General Conference is in session, Reba McEntire will be at the Excel Energy Center. The music of the Carpenters will be featured at Chanhassen Dinner Theater. And the St. Paul Civic Symphony is presenting a Mother's Day concert at the Landmark Center. As far as places to eat, you can't go wrong with any of the restaurants along Nicollet Mall in Minneapolis. But one of my favorites is a Vietnamese restaurant within walking distance of the convention center. Its name is Lotus To Go Go on Grant Street. Seating is limited, so takeout may be the best way to go.
Thank you, Carol and Dave. Well, I honestly hope that you are as excited to come to Minneapolis as we are to host you. Please be sure to visit our Dakotas, Minnesota display table in the vendor area. It's just right outside these doors right here. Also, any of us who are assisting with the host committee process have these snazzy buttons that say Minneapolis 2020. Ask me. We're also conveniently dressed in purple. But please take a moment to check out our host committee website, gc2020welcome.org, for information about travel, accommodations, getting around, attractions and dining options, and much more. You can also contact us through the website, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. As I said earlier, we want you to know as a host committee that, again, no matter who you are, no matter where you are welcome in Minneapolis, and we cannot wait to have you. Thank you.
For those of you who are more into sports than music, the Twins are also in town during the weekend, and on Mother's Day, which is the middle Sunday of General Conference, they will be playing during the day at Target Field. We hope y'all will come.